crew, today's video, we're revisiting a past project. A project that I did almost pretty much back when I first got this Jeep. And I've had it for quite a while now. These switches, this is how I start my switch. I start my Jeep, see? Push to start. But these switches, over many years, used multiple times a day, because this is my daily driver right here, okay? Multiple starts a day, whether it be to and from work, going on adventures, whatever the case may be. These switches got used a lot, and they're finally worn out. There's no clicky. Where's the other one? Or like my arming switch right here, 12 volt power. What I've got wired up as, when I push the top switch in right there, it supplies power to the rest of the switches. Well, it's getting kind of shady on the inside because I can feel that the contacts just aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. So what we're going to do, we're changing out these switches. Now, if you like DIY videos that gives you the pride of doing the job yourself and saves you money, this is the channel for you. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up at the end of this video, or hit it now. Let's get on with this. Now, we got to dig these things out of here to change them out. This one right here is okay. This is one from onboard air, which I still have not installed. This switch right here, what it does, it simply activates the power to both of these switches. It's kind of like a master kill switch in a way. And this is a momentary push switch. Let's see, right, nope, not that one. As you see right here, push to start. That switch right there is kind of jacked up. So we're changing out this switch and that switch. The reason I'm changing this one, I can feel that it's got a lot softer over the years, and I've had these switches installed for several years. I'll have to go back and look at the video as to when I put these in to tell you exactly how long. I don't remember right off, and I'll put the how many years I've had them in there popped up here somewhere. You can see how this has got a nice positive snap to it. This one got kind of soft. So I may have, like the springs inside here may have slipped. The contacts aren't contacting correctly. I don't know what's up. But the reason I've got these switches set up like that is because of this right here. Okay, notice on the tumblers, most of your key systems, you've got the little wings that stick out on the side right here. You use those wings to turn your key to start your rig, okay? Well, since I've had this Jeep, the wings have been gone. It takes a lot of pressure just on that key alone to turn the ignition to start it. I've still got this set up to where I can start it, all this stuff. This is completely still functional. It doesn't have that ring on the outside that has the wings on it to allow you to turn it. So I've always been scared of putting too much pressure on the key and breaking it off in the ignition. Hence the reason we putting those in. Besides, it's just cool anyway. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and change those switches out, because that's what I've got time to do right now. And when I get time, I'm going to change out the tumblers and stuff, the whole cylinder out of the lock cylinder here. I'm going to change all that out as well. But they will not be in this video. Right now we're just doing this. To make it a little easier on yourself to get to the stuff behind that panel, take this off, take that off. This comes off first. Got 2 screws, as you see here. I've already got them out. That lifts out. That's where if you need to change your bulbs for whatever reason that's not working, you can change them out there. Then after you get that off, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 more screws. Where's my fingers? There it is. 4 more screws right there, and then this whole piece right here comes off. Once you get all the bezel off, then you've got, if you want to get that froggy, you got 2 screws here, 2 screws here, and 1 up here, and that should get all this plastic section right here off. See how it moves? That's all this across through here, down through here, this right here, this, then circling up through there. It leaves your gauges intact, but you take all that off too to help you get to the back of the gauges. Now where it stands right now, I could possibly get this one out because I can push in the top of that one. I can get to the bottom of this one, which it may give me enough room to get in behind here. But you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and take them out there. That way give me a little more room to work with this. As you can see, remove those screws gave me a little bit more wiggle room to get my fingers back up inside there. And what we got to do is, see how those little wings right here? You push down on those wings on each side and you pop the switch out. Now pop the top side out, push these bottom wings in, which you pop the bottom side of the switch out, then you work them out from there. I'm not going to pull this whole thing out right here because I'm going to work in a couple hours, so I don't feel like screwing something up and Well, I guess I could drive it with half the dash out of it. Not that it really matters, but I'm just not doing it right now. Now, if that disappoints y'all, want to see how that comes out, there will be a later video when I'm working on Rust Bucket, because I'm going to remove the dash completely out of Rust Bucket, which means all the stuff right here is going to be gone, and I'm going to be putting something else in. So the complete removal of a dash will come later on, because all I'm after right now is changing those switches. So what I'm going to do from this point on now is take me a flat screwdriver, push on top of those wings, as you see there, to push them out. Okay, as you can see from the gap right here, I've got this one unseated, about ready to pull out. And being I can't get a tripod up in here, and the camera and screwdrivers and me and all stuff like that, I'm going to try my best to explain to you how I got it out. Flat blade screwdriver, get up underneath here, and just twist lightly so you don't break anything off. It's like you're breaking this plastic trim right here. Twist your screwdriver just lightly, which puts pressure on pushing that switch outward. Now I took a smaller screwdriver, got up inside here, and wedged against those wings. So the pressure of me turning the screwdriver against this trim right here, pushing it outward, and me pushing up on the wings back here in the back with a flat screwdriver, allowed me to walk it right out there just as sweet as it can be. And you can see from back in the day when I first put these in, I kind of got overzealous on my cutting, my trimming. You don't need to do that, because this piece right here from the factory, the YJs, some of them had a rear window heat, like your hardtop rigs. It's gonna have rear window heat and rear window wiper and so on, and some come out with driving lights up front. This was the panel that the factory mounted those switches on. This 91 model right here was a total base model when I got it, so it had no extra amenities, no perks, no nothing. So this was just a blank panel. These little cutouts right here are perfect size for these switches right here. And I'll link up the video when I first wired these right here in. And all you gotta do is take your trim knife, poke your hole in the middle of this. If this piece right here is solid black with no cutouts, only thing you gotta do is take a box cutter knife, stick it right in the middle of each one of these third sections right here. I say thirds because it's this part, this part, this part. And just trim out along the hard plastic edge. There's nothing but a hard plastic edge right there. Super easy to trim them out. Okay, so I've got that wire sticking out. Now I'm going to pop this switch over here. Okay, now that I've got these things popped out, I am going to change these over to the new switch. You take one wire off, put it on the new switch, take another wire off, put it on the new switch, and so on and so on. Now that way you'll be able to keep track of where your wires are. Well, being that I'm the one that built this harness, I'm not sweating it too much. And I pretty much know where everything goes, so therefore I'm just going to change them over. New switch, old switch, new switch, old switch. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of piece of advice. I'm going to link up the videos, because this right here is actually, I started out with a little toggle switch to start my Jeep with, a momentary toggle. Then I discovered these switches right here, and I thought they were like super cool looking, so I bought these switches. Then I built the wiring harness to put these switches in. And now, many years later, I'm replacing the switches because they're wore out. Because this is my daily driver. I mean, these switches were used multiple times a day. So for them to wear out, I totally get it. And they last for many years, so I do like the quality of them. But let me give you guys a little bit of hint. If you guys go back and watch the videos where I went from a toggle switch to start this thing, then I wired these in to start it. Whenever you go to build a harness for these right here, what I want you to do is make your wires a little bit longer, because I've actually made this life hard on myself. I've got so little wire to play with to pull the switches out to change everything out. Because you have to stick them through here. You have to stick them through these holes right here, then pop them in the switch. It ain't like you're going to slide the switch back through here. Not going to happen. And the back side of the harness here, there's wires that loop from this switch over to this switch over to this switch, and so on and so on. They loop around the back. So it's not like I can just wire it, stick some wires through here, and call it a day. So make sure you build your harness pigtails a little bit longer to give yourself room to service it later on. Now before I put this dashboard back together, you want to test it out? Well, of course you do. Alright, so brake, clutch, turn the key on. And like I said, this switch right here, well, I just had it turned on, but this switch right here is my arming switch. I'll flip it. It applies 12 volt power to both of these on each side of this. So I'll flip that. Now this switch has power, that switch has power. Well, if I turn it off, look, I got nothing. But turn the switch on, check it. Now that's how I want it to work. Now these switches have no play as to whether, see I turn that switch off, it does not turn the Jeep off. Only thing that does is trigger the starter. That's all it does. It has nothing to do with the ignition. My key still runs my ignition. Easy peasy. Another thing I want to suggest is that back when I built this harness, what I should have done is taken my heat shrink, run all the way up on the post. That prevents any kind of issues of like something getting against your post and shorten it out or something like that. I'm very diligent on the way I do my wiring harnesses and such, and I cannot understand why I did what I did back then, because I normally run my heat shrink all the way up on my connectors so nothing rubs against each other and shorts. I don't know. I can't explain my thinking at that point in time, but it is what it is. Now to put these back in, simply get them up in line, push, get this one in line, yep, there you go, and push, ta-da. Switches have been reinstalled. Now put your dash back together just like you took it apart. Well, actually reverse order of where you got the point. Now we can't have a good educational DIY video without tearing something up. Come on. Pop this thing off. Gotta see what's inside of it. Take that little tab, oops, from the viewfinder, take that little tab, push it up. Rock your screwdriver back a little bit. See how it separates the switch? Get this side, screwdriver under the tab. Try not to stab yourself. Rock it back, switch comes apart. There we go. Now that's not to say I know what's wrong with it, because everything that kind of flew apart. Look right there, those contacts. You can see how many years of use I've had on that. Again, somewhere in the video I'll do a pop-up showing how many years I've had these switches. I'll have to go back and look at my past video when I installed these things. But that appeared to have sitting here like this right here somehow. And as this rocked back and forth like this, with inside, get in there. See, it's got a rubber O-ring for the waterproofiness. That set inside here like, get in there, sitting inside here like, can't see the viewfinder. That set inside here like it had to rock back and forth. You can see right here where it was connected before I broke the switch. And as it rocked back and forth, it moved this piece forward and back, contacting the contacts inside here. Sometimes it would close the connection, sometimes it would open the connection, depending on where the position was in the switch. And just because I'm showing you guys I'm replacing bad switches, don't get me wrong. These switches have lasted me many years, like I've said already several times in the video, and I would happily order more of these. It's a wear tear out on people. They just wear out after a while, and you got to replace them. These switches rock, they really do. Now I'll link up, where you guys can go check them out if you want some. Sweet. And there you go. Some of you actually learned something. Some of you, I bet you didn't even know that there was a place for those switches in there, did you? If from the factory your rig coming did not have those switches there, you just got a little solid black panel. All thing you got to do is stick your knife inside there and trim them out, open them up, and then pop your little switches, wire your switches, and pop them in. Now what I'll do is I'll link up a web page going over to fixjeeps.com. That's fixjeeps.com. That's the website that I'm tying a lot of my videos to. I built a web page to where, one, you can find these products and stuff if you want to get switches like these to wire up a scenario like I've got going on here. Also, I'll I'll pop the videos in there so you guys can see when I first put the little momentary toggle switch in. Then I converted over to these type switches. Then I'll drop the video into where I had to change the switches out. Therefore, all those videos will be on one web page, and you won't have to search for them. Sweet, sweet. All right, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, hit me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and leave me some cool comments down below. Appreciate you hanging out. Peace. Later, y'all.